Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today's Monday, May 6, 2019. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Let's get started over here at the grandsolarminimum.com, where we are listing all of our links to all the articles that we covered tonight. Here's even a spot for you to watch the video as we stroll along. Let's get started with our solar wind speeds sitting around 354.8 kilometers per second with a density of 4.4. Let's go into our space weather section here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. And first, I want to take you to this chart here. If we have experienced some C-class flares, almost M-class flares as well. Let's take a look at it a little bit zoomed in. By the way, we still have AR 2740, but we are also talking about the possibility of AR 2741. Now, here's some of these stronger flares. And it was that final strong flare down here at the bottom. Let's see if we can trace this here, folks. It is being said now that this region right here that shot off the last, that one right there, was responsible for, or possibly responsible for, the 7.1 earthquake that we received today. So we'll get more into that as well. But there's a look at our sunspot AR 2740. And they are talking about the possibility of another big sunspot here, according to SPACEWEATHER.com, with one big sunspot at AR 2740 already turning towards Earth. Another big sunspot, AR 2741, is now emerging over the sun's eastern limb. Amateur astronomers with safe solar telescopes are encouraged to point their filter optics here and monitor the developments. And of course, they had a little write-up on the flare today. Now, this is the strongest flare that we have seen from our sun since October of 2017. I was joking with Starman earlier on Twitter. You know it's a solar minimum when everyone is paying so much attention to an M-class flare. But let's be fair, folks. I mean, M-class flares aren't that weak. They're a little bit on the stronger side. So it's pushing closer to the X. So anyway, sunspot number 40, and we still sit at 74 days without sunspots for the year of 2019. Obviously, right now we are in a stretch of spots appearing. In fact, we are looking at possibility of another one coming in over the eastern limb. By the way, nothing in the form of coronal holes or anything to be concerned about. Watching a couple areas here at the very earth-facing point of the sun. A small little flare plus some activity, but nothing really coming of that as well. And taking a look at our star on the reverse side, there's our two sunspots we're talking about, possibly a third one right behind it, and then another one at the negative 180 in the southern part of the equatorial region of the sun. So very active here on our sun over the past couple of days since we reported last. Let's take a look at this in motion, zoom this in just a little bit. Here's our sunspot, folks. This is sunspot number 14. Let's try to get this to play. That's the fun part. Nope, it doesn't want to. All right, so we won't see this in motion. Not much to see anyway. Just kind of steady as she goes. But again, we've had some C-class flares close to M-class. A C9.9 was the strongest of the bunch. And today, we were reporting here earlier that we had a earthquake of 7.1 in Papua New Guinea. Here's the TSI reading for April 23rd, and it comes back at 1360.646. Somehow I feel like that probably should be a little bit further along. I'll have to double check on that, folks. My fault on that one. And let's get right into it. So we were already talking about the C9 flare here at SPACEWEATHER.com. We also see a little write-up here from Watchers.news. Moderately strong solar flare measuring a C9.9 erupted from AR 2740 at 5:10 UTC on May 6th. The event started at 5:04 UTC and ended at 5:12 UTC. This is the strongest solar flare since the M1 at 23.28 UTC on October 20th, 2017. Type radio 2 emission with an estimated velocity of 740 kilometers per second was associated with the event, suggesting a CME was produced by the flare event. The current position of this region does not favor Earth-directed flares. Here we see where the C class measured. Still quite a ways from the M class, but still strong enough to be talked about today. As like I said, we're in a solar minimum. So this is going to make the news. When you're looking at the sun right now and you see the blank disk, and then we have this little bit of flashing going on, yeah, that's something to talk about. So, but that's about as much action as you're going to see during these minimums, especially where we are now heading into the deeper part of this minimum. Thanks to the watchers for all the coverage on this particular story. And I'm pretty sure, yep, we're going to stay right here with the watchers and talk about strong storm hits the Yucatan. Heavy rain, hail, and power outages have been reported. Strong storm, described by local media, one of the strongest in recent memory, hit Yucatan on May 5th, 2019. The worst affected were central and southern areas where heavy rain flooded roads and homes. The rain lasted for more than 2 hours and was accompanied by winds of 31 miles per hour. Power outages were reported in the north, and intermittent power outages were reported most municipalities in the south area. Hail sizes of marbles was reported in some areas as well. The storm came all the way from the Pacific Ocean, breaking a period of intense heat. So this was a much needed storm here in the Gulf. Moving right along, we talked to you about, here's another report. Now, Watchers.news gives us the basic stats. I'm just going to read the headline, really, and then I've got another story here to follow it up with. Strong earthquake hit 7.2 in Papua New Guinea around 21:19 UTC time, May 6, 2019. The agency is reporting a depth of 78.8 miles. Nothing has been affected yet as far as the humanitarian part of this. And here's a little update from this same earthquake, a little bit more information for you. According to Geoscience Australia reports, the large quake, which happened on Tuesday around 7:19 a.m. local time and has the depth of around 146 kilometers in far north Queensland, the Bureau of Meteorology had said. The epicenter of the quake was 34 kilometers from the town of Bulolo, which is a population of 16,000 people. Does not report any damage, no tsunamis. Here is a little bit of video footage. So this was the tail end of that earthquake. He said this one lasted a little bit longer. Let's take a look and see exactly where we have this quake at on the map. Let's zoom in a little more. This was inland. This was not out in the middle of the ocean. But no tsunamis were reported at this time. No damage was reported at this time. No fatalities, no injuries. But we will keep you guys posted as the information becomes available. But again, like I said, to start the broadcast off, something with these solar flares and all of a sudden we get a strong earthquake. Well, that's stuff that we talked about on Saturday night. I hope you guys had a chance to check out the interview with Scott Chapman. It was his presentation. It was almost a 3-hour program, but we went over a lot of one-on-one stuff with the grand solar minimum, cosmic rays, seismic activity, climate, you name it. We covered the basics of it, and really there's so much more to talk about, but well put together. He put some time into this presentation, and I think it helps people understand a little bit more of what we're trying to explain here when it comes to the science of what's happening here. Historic Arctic outbreak affecting Europe and Northern Africa. I talked about this on Thursday night, about how we were going to have one of the coldest May Day bank holidays in history. Well, here we go. A significant Arctic blast is affecting almost the entire Europe and parts of Northern Africa. Some regions are dealing with heavy snow, below freezing temperatures, late season frost. Another blast of cold air is expected from May 11th to May 18th. So they get a little bit of a break and they're going to get more cold weather. And what you're looking at here, folks, are like coffee pots with burning coal, fire, to help keep frost, keep the temperatures just above freezing to help prevent any kind of crop damage. Temperatures plunge close to and below zero in many places, with many record low temperatures reported. Higher altitudes of Germany, above 2,300 feet, saw some snow on May 4th, but significant amounts were registered in the Alps. up to 1 foot or more. Heavy snowfall was reported mostly in northern Italy, May 5th and May 6th. 2 people were killed and another is missing after high winds and heavy rain hit Italy and France on May 5th. 1 person was killed in Sicily, Italy after an unexpected gust of wind smashed him against a parked car as he tried to go into the sea. Another person was killed in France after being swept away by high waves on the island of Corsica. Third casualty is a man who ended up in the waters of the canal between the Messino and Pozzolo, Italy, during a fishing trip here. And here we have a picture that says it all. Some spring snow here, folks. Check that out. Looks like winter wonderland. It is May 6th. Not extremely late, but we are getting to that point of the year in the northern hemisphere where, you know, it's supposed to be warming up here in the northern hemisphere. We shouldn't be seeing any of this sticking right now. All right, let's continue along here. Take a look at that. Here we are greening in April and beautiful weather here. We had some nice temperatures across Europe. And then 30 days later, we're looking at a snow-covered orchard. May 5th, 2019. Wow. So historic cold outbreak. Coldest temps they've seen in over 2 decades. Here's a little bit better idea of what these buckets of fire are doing here. Producing CO2. Maybe it's keeping everything warm down there, huh? No, I'm kidding. But this is how they're going to fight the frost damage. This is pretty early. And you can see there's flowers blooming and the grass is green. No time for below 0 temperatures. These are not winter temps or pictures, folks. This is May 5th. Look at this. That's quite the heavy snow, folks. That's not just a dusting. And we are talking about temperatures here. This is May, heading into mid-May right now. These look like conditions of something that we would see in January into February. Below average temperatures will continue over the next 10 to 12 days with another blast of cold air hitting the continent from May 11th to May 18th. Heavy snow is expected across the Alps, northern Italy, and into Bosnia as well. And take a look at the temperature anomaly, how much colder air is supposed to move into the region. Here we are, May 10th. This is neutral, slight warm up around the 11th, and then we see another Arctic blast once again pounding the region. And this colder air sticks around, and finally we start to see some normal spring-like temperatures in Spain and France, slowly moving up into the UK. But this cold temperatures are just, I mean, Italy gripping Germany, Denmark. And finally, by the 20th of May, we start to see some normal-like spring temperatures, but still cold anomalies happening this late in the year. You got to believe it has a lot to do with moisture that we've had, but this unusually late-season cold air, this is definitely has to do with what we've been talking about on this channel for many, many years now, and lower sunspot activity. Inconsistent weather, shorter grow seasons, longer winters. And, you know, we're seeing these temperature up and downs here in May. This is where we usually see it in late March and early April. And we're in early May heading into mid-May and still clearly looking at winter-like conditions through the middle part of May. Believe it or not, this is a snow depth chart over the next several days. Hard to imagine that we still have snow falling in parts of Europe. Unreal. Leave the link on the website here. You guys can check it out on watchers.news. And Ebola, back in the news, it claims over 1,000 lives in the DR Congo, world's second deadliest outbreak. Since the beginning of the epidemic in August of 2018, the accumulated number of cases is 1,554, including 1,488 confirmed and 66 probable. In total, there was 1,029 deaths, 963 confirmed and 66 probable, and 438 people cured. So not a very high cure rate in this point. There are currently 213 suspected cases under investigation. 23 cases were reported in one day last week. the highest since the start of the outbreak, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies reports. Major security challenges and lack of community acceptance of the response continue to hamper the efforts to end the outbreak, meaning people are getting sick and not going to see medical attention and allowing the disease to spread probably a little bit more than probably what it should. Tons of information here. Worryingly, many of these deaths are occurring with communities, which means that people are not seeking care and treatment in health centers. This is accelerating the spread of Ebola with communities. We are at a critical juncture where we need to step up our support to communities that are facing greater risk of infection. Yet Ebola responders face massive security challenges and a lack of resource for the response. An under-resourced operation creates a very real risk of the international spread of Ebola, according to Ebola virus disease coordinator of the IFRC. This is the world's second deadliest outbreak. More than 11,300 people died in West Africa in 2014 through 2016. And staying here in Africa, we are talking about 1.1 million people and 1.1 million food insecure. Food prices increase sharply as severe drought takes over Kenya. Their short rainy season from October to December has now come to an end, and they are now being delayed for the long rainy season that's supposed to begin from March to May. But a drought has been raised for 15 arid and semi-arid counties, while 5 counties have already reached the alarm stage. So as we talk about crop loss throughout the world, and it's not just about, cosmic rays increase and more precipitation, there are still drought conditions in these grand solar minimums, and those also contribute to crop loss. Now, there is a smaller percentage of crop loss to drought during grand solar minimum, if I'm not mistaken, but for the obvious reasons, when you have more flooding and more water falling, you delay and stunt your growth of your crops, flood them out, wash them out, they're destroyed. You can't replant. We'll actually show you guys a new map of the suitable days for work in the fields. But just another example here, we're already struggling. They're fighting frost out here in parts of North Africa. Kenyans going through a drought right now. Mozambique has got plenty of moisture. In fact, they probably wish there was a way to donate some of that to Kenya, but it's really GSM conditions are present if you know about them. And this is that up and down roller coaster of temperature swings and precipitation swings and just a little bit of everything everywhere across the planet. And that's what we're seeing right now. We'll leave the link in the description for that one. And here we go. Multi-day widespread severe weather across the plains and Mississippi Valley of the U.S. This is kind of part of the weather report, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it right now. So they're looking at a multi-day widespread severe weather outbreak. Heavy rain event is anticipated for much of the plains, Mississippi Valley this week. Again, we talked about this last week on Thursday, and I tweeted it out today where I showed the rain totals over the next 14 days. Some areas could be reaching over 7 to 8 inches of rain. Most of us will see about 2 to 3 inches of rain in just a short period of time. Tennis ball size hail and large tornadoes were already reported on May 5th. Several large ones in Texas, Kansas, and Nebraska. Here's a map of all the filtered storm reports for the day. Large hail, wind reports, tornado reports, there was 20. All in all, we had 174 storm totals. And check out Florida, they were in on the action today as well. A total of 20 tornadoes were reported, with the most notable near Tahoka, south of Lubbock, Texas. And here is some footage of that tornado, but it's not for broadcast, so we recommend that you check this out after the show. Here we go from the GOES 16. We can look at this. We won't get in trouble for that. But check it out. Almost stationary. What a storm here, guys. Can't wait to watch this after the show. Jerks. Anyway, cold front stretching across the Midwest, middle Mississippi Valley, Central Plains, and into the Colorado Rockies will cause showers and thunderstorms along it over the next couple of days. This front is expected to move faster across the Great Lakes region in Ohio Valley and reach the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states by Tuesday, May 7th, but the front will stall farther west and creating a focus of multiple rounds of rain and thunderstorms, according to the National Weather Service. I will go over that as well here towards the end, but this is pretty accurate of the map I showed everybody today, where we were looking at. This is the areas that are also going to be seeing the 2 to 3 inches, if not more, of rain everywhere that's shaded. Not only are we looking at increased chance for severe weather, but heavy rains is included with this forecast. Just look at this. Over the next couple days, as we move across the south, the chances for severe weather increase. So we will have to keep our eyes here on the south part of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, and into the Ohio Valley for severe chances to increase as the week continues to move along. Yeah, up to 15 inches of snow, folks. Colorado, here we are talking about severe thunderstorms and flooding across the south. Forecasting white website Powder Chasers has predicted up to 15 inches of fresh snow falling in Colorado this week, with their low estimate of 9 inches. According to their report, light snow will fall in the central and northern mountains on Wednesday, with this storm continuing into Thursday. The peak snowfall is expected to occur Wednesday night through Thursday, while the heaviest snow is expected to fall in the central mountains. Snow is expected on the Front Range as well. In Colorado Springs, temperatures are expected to drop on Wednesday night, bringing snow amid heavy precipitation that's expected to be seen throughout the week. Snow will also be possible in Denver on Thursday, depending on the temperature. If it's too warm, we'll likely see heavy rain instead. Well, that's great. Parts of Colorado also likely see hail as big as 1 inch in diameter, with winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Those severe storms are expected to occur over tonight and in tomorrow of El Paso County. So we'll leave the link article for that. So snow on one end, and then severe thunderstorms after that. Here's a winter returns to France with snow and ice, similar to what I just read on Watchers, but I wanted to cover here. Got a little bit of footage as well of the snowfall.
Parts of the French Riviera resembled a ski resort at the weekend, as a cold front brought ice and snow to the Côte d'Azur. After basking in sun over Easter, toboggans and road gritters were seen on the streets of Antibes. The story was the same across much of France, with snow and wind gusts up to 130 kilometers an hour in the Rhône Valley. Paris experienced its coldest May temperatures for 22 years, while the strong winds delivered a rough ride for passengers on ferries in and out of Marseille.
All right, folks, so that's today as well. So France, Europe, all over Europe and France. We were talking about this cold weather. Well, they sure got it. And the snow is out there still. It's May 6th. We're still talking about snow. Again, Colorado is no stranger to May snow. It happens from time to time. But I don't know about you. I just noticed from last year to this year how we seem to have winter weather gripping on just a little bit longer than we had last year. I'll have to do the research. I'm pretty sure, though, that we're still seeing snow chances well into later this week as well in parts of the United States and other parts around the world as well, guys, especially through the 11th through the 18th. That's just absolutely incredible for this time of year after they had some very nice warmth throughout that region during the Easter holiday, as you already heard the gentleman speak of already. And let's go back to the states. Severe thunderstorms widespread. Now listen, we're talking about the weather that's moving across. Well, now we're dealing with the flooding and how many people we've lost so far. At least 3 have been killed after major flooding to hit the U.S. Midwest late this week, bringing the death toll to at least 7 since April 29th. This is just from floods, folks. Widespread flooding is affecting the country from Michigan to the south and is expected to continue into the days ahead. Storms that hit the region over the past 7 days produced numerous tornadoes, overturning trucks, damaging homes, dumped heavy rain on a region dealing with the widespread of flooding since mid-March. The state of Iowa has received more precipitation in the last 12 months than any recorded period of 124 years of data. Remember, folks, we were talking about cycles when we were talking to Scott. and how cycles are intermixing right now. Certain cycles are connecting at the same time where these other cycles are connecting, kind of like the train going 25 miles, or the one that arrives in 25 minutes and 20 minutes, they arrive at the same time eventually. And that's what we're seeing right now. A lot of these 100-year records for flooding. Here's one here, 157 years. The Mississippi River, 6.9 meters at Rock Island, the Quad Cities region on May 2nd, breaking the previous record of 22.63. So not a huge record broken, but nonetheless, a record was broken from 93, making it the highest level there in 157 years. The flood crest surpassed 24 feet in the Illinois city on May 3rd, reported the National Weather Service. The Mississippi River has been at a major flood stage for over 42 days now and will continue to stage into the weekend. Yet another rise is expected as new storms hit the region. And guys, NOAA actually got something right. They predicted the flood season to go well into May, and right now it does not have any signs of letting up at this point. So this forecast has been right. That's one of the very few times that NOAA is right, but they got one right this time. And, broken clock is right twice a day at least. State of emergency was declared in Michigan's Wayne County after storms caused widespread flooding, leaving an estimated 3,000 homes flooded. A levee overtopped about 40 miles northwest of St. Louis, flooding towns of Winfield and Foley. Other parts of the Midwest and the South experienced severe flooding with roads and bridges closed, and flooding is expected to continue in the days ahead as more storms descend on the region. Once again, not for broadcast use, so go over to the website after the show. Check out the footage that we have here. This is in Texas, LaGrange, Texas. Here we are in Hannibal, Missouri. And of course, LaGrange, Mississippi, inundating. Town rains here, flooding, all kinds of stuff going on, folks. Davenport, Iowa, not for broadcast. We don't want you to see it. Slow-moving cold front will gradually push into the south and the east to produce strong to severe thunderstorms and locally heavy rain, with flooding from the south and the Tennessee Valley into the southeast mid-Atlantic by this weekend, the National Weather Service has warned. There is also a slight risk of excessive rainfall today, with heavy rain could cause flash flooding across lower Mississippi and the Mississippi Valley, as well as parts of the Ohio Valley, mid-Atlantic region as well. So lots of rain that has fallen across the United States. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. If you're in Florida, the Deep South, the Midwest, the Plain States, the Northeast, we've been spared a little bit, but we still have had our share of rain as well. Another headline I just wanted to bring up before we take our first break. Another snow headline here in Italy, May 6th. 67 centimeters of snow fell in the mountains of Italy, Veneto region on Sunday, May 5th. The late season snowstorm delivered winds and flurries throughout the southern Dolomite region and broke local records for spring snowfall, according to the Italian media. So once again, just wanted to look at this. Just a little snow shower. Snowflakes look pretty large there. Lots of accumulating snow, I'd say. Goodness. Now, to be fair, this is in the mountains, so it's not like it's on the lower elevations, but still impressive for this time of year. Still talking about snow, and it's May. I know I've said that. I'm a broken record. All right, guys. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.